Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have found myself waking up the last few nights thinking about this opportunity that I have. Really, it's just another chapter in all our lives here today. And I have many thank yous to give. So I'll get started there, and I've been writing some notes, and through my career in this and in other careers, for example with the home builders, I have to speak from here rather than here. So bear with me. God is great. I'll start thanking my wife Dare of 44 years and our two daughters. As probably most of you, we've been through the good times and the rough times. She's always been by my side. And we had a life circumstance that made things clear how God plays in all our lives. And in 2004, when I first run for this position, I had done what no Republican had done in the 103rd. Yes, I was unsuccessful, but I garnered 44% of the vote. And you know, life in general is not easy, but it's really tough when you put your heart and soul into something and you lose. But it is a good lesson. I searched for the reason why. Well, that reason come in 2006. I come home from Canada, I was bear hunting, and Dare said, "Look at this." And she looked like she was pregnant. She had gained 14 pounds in less than 2 weeks, and it was still going. We went to the emergency room. They said, we told them, "Don't beat around the bush." They said, "You've got about 6 to 8 months to live." That journey started, which lasted 2 years and is still going on, but we had a miracle, and that miracle was an adult stem cell transplant. She developed a rare form of cancer, Burkitt's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Went through several rounds of chemo, was declared in remission, but yet it come back. We went to Carmanos Cancer Institute. She had the transplant. And the day after Christmas in 2007, she had been going to Spectrum in Reed City getting blood every 7 to 10 days. And they come out and said, "Dare, you're not getting blood today. You have a new blood type and a new DNA." It was just like somebody turned a switch on. A year later, she was given all her immunizations as if she was a newborn. And a few years later, she was declared cancer-free in regards to this transplant. The reason I bring this up, that was the reason that I lost in '04. God's will be done. I would have had to resign my position. I was her caregiver. And you know something? I did something I didn't know I was capable of. Through that whole journey, I did not write one thing down. And I can tell you the dates, I give her shots, I can tell you the whole thing. But I'll move on from there. So it was an experience that you don't wish on anybody, but it made our lives clear, and that is in regard to our Lord. I thank our two daughters. Miranda, our youngest, she lives in Allendale, works at the UPS the main hub for UPS in Grand Rapids as a supervisor. And our oldest daughter, Samantha, lives in Monterrey, Mexico, with our 3 grandchildren, our son-in-law. She's a senior asset manager for Blackstone, the world's largest real estate. So anyways, we've been very blessed, and they have been very supportive. My mom and dad. My dad was born on a dirt floor in South Texas, a Mexican-American boy that got a letter one day. And in 6 weeks, he was in North Africa. He'd been to San Antonio twice on a cart. He walked all the way from he walked all the way from Anzio to Munich, and his outfit liberated Dachau. He was a Silver Star recipient. He was wounded twice in action, and him and his 2 brothers come home. We owe our veterans, as we celebrated Pearl Harbor, everything. My staff, I've had several, and as Representative Altman stated, they seem to get robbed. But you know what? They're in limbo just like us. They have to look after themselves. Currently, Robert Nair, Chris Wright, Joe Underwood, Casey Kreiner, Janelle Brzezinski, Greg Cairns, Maria Ostrander, and Brittany Fawzi. I thank you all. My first hire was Maria, and what I told her that day, if there's one thing we're going to do in this office is answer our constituents' concerns. Legislatively, it's secondary. I've had very many successes legislatively, and I will tell you most of those have come from constituents' concerns. And we have accomplished, all my staff, I appreciate their effort in making me look good, but really answering those who put me here for 3 terms. And I appreciate the citizens of the 103rd District for sending me here. You know, my first experience at the Capitol was a long time ago. I was in the 5th grade. It was 1961. And I went to school in a little town. I was raised 38 miles from here in a little town of Freeport. And our teacher, there was 15 of us in our class. And they loaded up 2 or 3 cars and brought us to Lansing. I never forgot that experience, but you know what? I never dreamt that I would be back in this capacity. And every morning that I'm here, Representative Potvin and I, we live together, and I want to thank Phil for that. We've known each other for over 30 years. But we drive down Michigan Avenue, looking at the Capitol, and I'm still in awe. The sergeants, I know them all by name. I consider them my friends. They have honored me. We've done several functions together. How important they are to us all, and I appreciate your hard work. Chief Dixon and all the others are my friends. Alice in the back room. She's a great lady. A lot of knowledge there, and we all should take advantage of that and get to know her. If I have a regret here at all, I'm very serious about this. I have a tendency to be that way. But my regret is that I didn't get to know you all better. Because at the end of the day, viva la familia, the family forever, and we are family. We've had many losses here. My mom. When I was elected president of the Michigan Association of Home Builders in 2004. During that ceremony, the past president said to my mom, "Mrs. Rendon, what do you think your son's going to be in life?" She said, "He's going to be a politician." My dad, the man of few words, he said, "Son," and this was in regards to the politics, "I didn't want this for you, but I support you." I'm not going to forget all the policy folks, and I want to talk about Gary Randall and Rich Brown. Gary, I'm sorry to let you down on the Guernsey cow, but I'm glad you got her. That's kind of an inside thing. Rich, thank you for your service. Thank you both. Thank all the policy people here in what you do. This chamber functions very well, and we couldn't do it without you. I do have three of my staff here in the West Gallery. Robin and Chris and Janelle, thank you. Something that has served me and helped me through all the decisions that we have to make here in this chamber, and that is our Wednesday morning prayer and Bible study, as well as the legislative prayer caucus that we have. I did get to know Julie a little bit. First, through the legislative prayer caucus when she spoke. She served on a committee with me and had a couple conversations with her in the elevator. I wish I could have got to know her better, but I could tell she was a great mom and a great person. And then there was Peter. My last conversation with Peter, I'll share with you. And I'm not sure the meaning of it. I'm working on that. We were in conversation and Peter said, "Bruce, you know, I'm not fond of riding my bike anymore after dark. That I think I'll be able to make one more trip down here to Lansing, but he just wanted to work around it not being dark when he rode his bike anymore." So God bless Julie and Peter. I know that you're with our Lord. You know, as I spoke about the journey Dare and I have been on with the transplant, all things happen for a reason. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to share something with you that when I was on the executive committee of the home builders in 1997, actually I cut my teeth in Lansing since the mid-'80s with the state home builders and got to learn this process. But we had a futurist come in and speak, and he spoke about change as a constant. He said something I have not forgotten, I use regularly. He said, in regards to change, there are those that make it happen, there are those that let it happen, and there are those that say what happened. I can tell you this much. Everyone in this room has made it happen, and I thank you for that. There's more I could say, but I think I've said enough. So may God bless you all. I consider you all friends, and thank you.